If you picture the building of the Great Pyramids, you see a scene from a movie. Thousands of exhausted workers hauling massive stone blocks across the desert, driven forward by the lash of a whip. That image is actually a legend. It was first recorded by the Greek historian Herodotus, who visited Egypt thousands of years after the pyramids were finished. His descriptions of a tyrant pharaoh and mass enslavement were later picked up by modern filmmakers and cemented in our minds. But we now know those stories were wrong. The people who actually built the pyramids were a highly organized workforce of free Egyptian citizens who were deeply respected for their labor. To understand how they actually achieved such a massive feat, we must move past the stories and look at the physical evidence left in the sand. The real story is found just south of the Sphinx, in a place called Heit el-Ghurab. This was the workers' village. By ignoring the giant monuments and focusing on the ground, archaeologists began finding everyday items, discarded tools, household trash, and the remains of ancient kitchens. Researchers like Dr. Mark Lehner have spent decades here, uncovering a settlement that had been hidden by the desert for over 4,000 years. This ordinary sand holds the proof of a sophisticated society. It shifts the entire history of the pyramids away from the pharaohs and back to the people who did the work. The reality of their lives was found in their trash. Excavators discovered massive pits containing hundreds of thousands of animal bones, sitting right next to industrial-sized bakeries and breweries. Those bones reveal a diet rich in protein. The state provided these workers with regular rations of beef, sheep, and goat, along with fresh bread and a thick, nutritious beer that was a core part of their daily life. This wasn't a permanent workforce. Farmers worked rotating shifts when the Nile flooded their fields. Arriving at Giza, their food reveals the social ladder. Elite supervisors lived in private homes eating prime beef, while seasonal laborers stayed in communal barracks eating sheep and goat. A government doesn't invest this much in a catering operation to feed disposable captives. These workers were a valued national resource. Evidence of their skill is also found in the workshops nearby and hidden deep inside the pyramids themselves. Recovered copper chisels and measuring tools show that these builders used advanced geometry and precision mathematics. They weren't just moving stones, they were engineering a masterpiece. But the most human evidence is the graffiti. In areas hidden from public view, work crews left their names in red paint. They gave themselves nicknames, like a modern sports team. One group called themselves Drunkards of Menkaure. These large gangs were divided into smaller, highly specialized teams. We know from the placement of their names that these teams often competed against one another, trying to outperform their neighbors. This kind of fierce competition and personal pride is something you only see in a motivated professional workforce. It's a dynamic that doesn't exist in a labor camp. The most personal evidence is found in a quiet corner of the plateau, the workers' cemetery. In ancient Egypt, being buried in the shadow of the pharaoh's monument was a massive honor. It was a privilege reserved for citizens the state respected. When specialists examined the skeletons, they found clear signs of advanced medical care. They saw broken bones perfectly reset and healed correctly, and even evidence of successful surgeries. DNA analysis of the remains proved that entire families, women and children, lived and died here. This was a community of workers, not a prison. Providing this level of medical care and honoring families with sacred burials confirms that these laborers were fulfilling a civic duty, working for a king they likely viewed as a god. When you connect the evidence of their diet, their pride in engineering, and the care they received, the old myth of the pyramids completely disappears. Giza wasn't a bleak site of suffering. It was a vibrant city, the heart of the world's first great national project. It brought together people from across the country to build something that would last forever. The next time you look at these monuments, try to shift your focus. Instead of seeing only the massive stones, think about the people who spent their seasons here building them. The Great Pyramids are not symbols of oppression. They are the ultimate testament to what human beings can achieve when they are organized, respected, and working together